Hi, this is Camille from my Junk Journal Heaven. I got this little packet of cards and envelopes from Dollar Tree, and it has I don't know whether it has 10 of each or 5 of each, but anyway, I saw a video that Edith from Scrapbooking with Me did about 3 years ago, something like that, and it kind of inspired me for this. So I'm going to take 3 of these envelopes. I would say it must be 10 envelopes and 10 cards, which is kind of nice because these envelopes are a good size. The envelopes are flimsy. The cards are actually cardstock. They're actually pretty good, so I'll be using them for something. I'm going to come up with something to do with them. See if I can get these envelopes back in here without... I like to keep it in the package so that I know where it is. Now, what she did was, and I've got to get my trimmer out here. She trimmed a little bit off of each side of her envelopes. So I am going to do that. And actually, I'm going to trim a little bit more than a little bit because they're over 5 inches. They're actually 5 3/4, and I don't want them that big because my journals aren't that big. Well, they're 5 1/2, but I want it to be a little bit smaller than that. So I'm going to trim it there. And I think I'll trim this side down so that it's 5 inches. Or do I want it a little bit smaller? Maybe 4 3/4. Yeah, I think that'll work. 4 3/4. Now, it doesn't matter what size envelopes you use. She was using junk mail envelopes, and I just wanted something a little bit smaller, so I decided to use these. I'm making some journals to go in cigar boxes, and they can't be, some of them can be thick, but they can't be too wide. So I don't know whether that's where this one will go or not, but it's a good possibility. All right, now I have 3 envelopes. 3 envelopes here. By the way, how is everybody today? I hope everybody's good. Now, let's see. Do I need 3 or 2 envelopes? You know, I think I only needed 2. But I do need to cut this bottom part off of this one, because we don't need that. So I need to trim that off. I was watching this as I was trying to sleep the other night. I have insomnia sometimes pretty bad, so I turn on videos and hope I'll fall asleep during them. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. All right, let's see here. Now, I think what I need to do is, and I don't think I need the 3rd envelope, I think just 2 is going to work. So what I'm going to do is, I got to see how this is going to work. If I do that there, you want to make sure that they're going to fold up like this, without impeding on each other. Now the top one may end up having to be folded a little bit different because of how big this gets, but I think this is going to work fine. I just need to decide how this is going to work. Okay. I'm going to put glue along here. Actually, I think I'll put it on here because this is already sticky. I'll put it here. And I'm using my art glitter glue. I don't know whether you could use a glue stick for this. You might be able to. I don't trust glue sticks very much if I want something to hold, so I don't use glue sticks. All right, and then I'm going to take it over on this side and glue it along here. And I'm hoping that this is going to work the way it should. I want it right over to the, well, looks like these aren't even anyway. These little pointy pieces. So I guess I'll match one up. I want to make sure it's even across there. That's level, so we'll just hope this works. I'll have to trim some off, it looks like. Let's see if it's going to work okay. Yes, I just need to trim it up a little bit so it's all even. Okay. All right. And I will do a little bit of that trimming right now. Did I ask how everybody is? I did. I hope you're all okay. I'm having trouble with allergies. I usually do in the fall, and I don't know whether it's pine trees or what it is. Because I had the same problem in Utah and the same problem in California. And that's the only common thing I can think of. When I was in California, I thought it was maybe eucalyptus, but obviously that's not the case because there's no eucalyptus here. All right, now you have an option with this of making this bottom one into a pocket, or making it another flap. And you know, I kind of like the idea of making it into a pocket. So I think that's what I'm going to do with it. And I have to decide what paper I'm going to use to cover this, because of course it's going to be covered. And I have some papers here that I was looking at and liking. I really like this one. This one is okay. This I don't think will work well because it's kind of, yeah, those I don't think will work that well. This one might work. And there's another one with 2 frames on it that I don't think is going to work well, so I'll put that over there. This one will work. This one, not so much. So, or I have this paper, scrapbook paper that I could use. I suppose it depends on what journal I'm going to put this in. If I'm going to put it in a fall journal or just a regular journal, I don't know. Oops. Put my pen back in my glue. You know, as you get older, it's hard to see these little places. I used to tat with little teeny tiny sewing thread, and I found lately I can't see it well enough to do that anymore. I think I'm going to go with this one on this part of it. Or should I put this one on the back? That's directional, so it's going to have to go, well, one way or the other. Let me get my trimmer out. That'll take off that white. Unfortunately, my guillotine won't take off this long piece. It's not big enough. And I wish it was. I hope any of you that are affected by the hurricane or the flooding are doing all right. I know all right's a kind of a crazy term, but for what people have been through, because it's not all right. I pray every night that the Lord will bless all those who have been affected with peace and comfort, and to know they're cared for and loved. It's just a terrible thing that's happened. Okay, now if I'm going to do this, I need to glue that bottom piece down there. Too much glue. All right. Now I could do something different here at the bottom on the pocket. And I think I'll do that. So I need my trimmer again. Oh, it's right here in front of me. I'm looking around for it. I did home care for a lady one time that said, "Oh, don't ever get old. Getting old is hell." I think she was a little older than I am now, but one of her problems was that she had emphysema because she'd been a smoker, and she was still smoking. She was on oxygen. She'd turn off her oxygen, walk across the room, and smoke. She said, "What difference does it make now?" I don't know. I don't know. She was a character. She was married to a man. She was his second wife. His first wife had passed away, and she'd been the nurse for the doctor that they went to. And I guess he was attracted to her after his wife passed away, and they started dating. And he had some money. He would rent a train car to go to Las Vegas and take a bunch of people with him to Las Vegas for the weekend from Salt Lake City. And so when they got married, they called her Diamond Lil because he gave her so many diamonds. And I don't think she cared that much about him. She was a interesting lady, very interesting. She'd been a nurse, and they had a house in Palm Springs, California, and she was a golfer. She won golfing tournaments. She had all kinds of trophies in her house from winning golfing tournaments. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and cut this at 3 inches. Where's my mark? There it is. I'm going to cut it right there. Better a little over than under. And then I'm going to cut it at 3 inches. It's not quite 3 inches, but I like to fold a little bit over. All right. It's kind of pretty too, isn't it? No, I think I like the dark side better. All right. Now this you could definitely use a glue stick for, but I'm just going to use my art glitter glue and get it glued down. And of course I couldn't keep a straight line on it, so I went over. And you have to be careful when you're covering this to keep the edges of the covering paper away from the fold, because if you get it right to where it's going to fold, it'll cause problems. So you want it just, this bottom one I don't think will matter, but the other ones are it's gonna make a big difference. Wipe off that excess glue there. Hey, something's crooked. Either my paper's crooked, my cut, or the envelope. Ugh. Can I pull it up? Probably not. Nope. Okay. It's just going to have to be inked. That's because I got it on there crooked. Oh well. It won't matter. I'll ink it really well and it'll look just fine. And because it's a pocket, I like it to have a little bit of extra strength on it, so folding it over like this makes it stronger. And the paper this is printed on is, I think it's 32 pound, 30 or 32 pounds. I get it from Amazon. I don't print everything on it. I print some things from paper I get at Walmart, but I like this paper a lot more. It's heavier and it's much nicer. All right, now that's going to go up there. And this one, I think what I'm going to do is put a little ink on here so I can see where these folds are. Make it a little easier on myself. So I went tonight to a weenie roast with people that I do water aerobics with, and it was at one of the ladies' houses. It was really fun, except the fire was too hot. But other than that, it was fun. We had a good time, lots of good food. All right, this one needs to be about 2.5 inches, and it is still 4 3/4 across. So I'm going to cut a piece and get it under there at 4 3/4. I'm going to need more than one, but we'll start with one. At 4 3/4. And then I'm going to cut off at 2.5, because I want a little bit to go under here. And I should ink this before I put it in there, I think. Although I could ink the edge of it afterwards. I'll ink the outer edges afterwards, and while I'm doing it, I need to ink the top of the pocket. if I decide I don't like the way this is over, I could also always cut down just a little bit on the edge there. All right. Maybe I ought to do the glue stick on these. Oops. Boy, that glue stick is gooping up everywhere. Well, it'll stick down for sure now, won't it? I don't like the globs of glue, though. Better stick down after all that. Oops, I want it up at the top, not at the bottom. And like I said, I don't want it quite to the fold. Spread that goopy glue out there. All right, and the next one, well, I'll glue this down. Oh, come on, that's got to glue. I don't think I'll glue it yet because there's a little bit of goopy glue on the paper, so this one, I'm not going to measure. I'm going to put a little pencil mark on it where I need it to be. Right about there. Which ends up being just a little bit over 4 inches for this one. I'm going to make sure it's right. And it is. It's just fine. All right. Get my glue book back here. Get these things wanting me to sign up for their Medicare supplement insurance. And I have an insurance I like that I've had for a few years. I'm not going to change, but you know, you get the phone calls, you get the mail, everything. Sign up for us, sign up with us. Drives me crazy sometimes. I finally figured out I could turn my phone so it doesn't allow odd numbers to come in. I figure anybody that wants to really talk to me will leave a message if it's important enough. And if it's salespeople, it's usually a computer that calls you first and then clicks into somebody. You know how that goes. So it just ignores it, and that's fine with me. I don't need to talk to them. Oops. Let's redo this. All right, and this one should be the same. Let me just measure it here. That one's a little bit longer. All right, so I'm going to do let me see here. How wide is it? I've forgotten already. Oh, I got it measured there, 4 3/4. Okay, 4 3/4. And I think since this is an off measurement, I'm just going to do it again with my pencil. It should have been the same, but it's not. And I should have had this be some journaling space. So maybe I'll make this the outside of it. I didn't even think about that. Edith did it with paper that could be journaled on. And all I was thinking about was making it pretty. Just goes to show you, doesn't it? Now, where's my mark? Oh, there it is. All right. And that's a little bit too big. Let's go back to it. Cut it down just a touch. And that looks like it's about right. Okay. Boy, those envelopes are really crooked, or that paper is. I don't know. Hopefully I didn't cut it that crooked, but who knows. Oh, and I got more goopies up here. All right. Let's get this. Now, I've done something similar to this before, and, oops, I didn't get the middle of that. I can tell I didn't. And I put pockets on it. So it's possible I could put pockets on here. And put something to journal on the pockets. Let me see here. Do I want to do it this way? Or do I want to do it this way? I could do that and then put some paper in here that can be journaled on. I think that's what I'm going to do. Now my pocket will be upside down, but that's okay. That won't hurt anything. And I want to see if inking this is going to cover up my mistake here. If not, then I'm going to cut it different. Looks like the top's already cut funny anyway, so it wouldn't matter a whole lot. Nope, it's going to get cut. It's going to get trimmed. Now I just need to do the top. Cut the top of the envelope so it's even. And I think the way I'm going to do that is by measuring it. Let me see here. This is the side where I can tell where it is. And it measures 1, 2, 3, 4 3/4. Odd number. So 2 and 3/8 would be the middle. Just a little over 2 1/4 is the middle. And it's about the middle there. I hope you guys don't have to go to all this trouble to do this. This is just me being backward. And I think because I'm going to be closing it up this way, it's going to need to be folded over a little bit further here with a little gusset or little area. So I'm not going to make it a straight cut, but I want to make it straight to start with, so that I get it where it needs to be. It's at least giving me a template for it. All right, and that's more in the middle. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this other side on it to be a little bit of a contrast. See if I can get this straight-ish. I guess if I put a big enough bead around here, I can spread it. Because I certainly don't get it straight. And I keep getting out of frame. I apologize for that. It's hard when I'm doing this not to want to do it closer up to where I can see it better. And I certainly don't want to get my head in the way. All right, and I'm going to put this right across here. Wow. Just perfect. Perfect size. All right, let's do that. Next weekend, I'm going to the Scottish Games at Stone Mountain, Georgia. It's a little ways outside of Atlanta. And my younger daughter that plays the bagpipes and her husband go every year. And so this year, three of my granddaughters, my great-granddaughter, that live here in Alabama, and my son and hopefully my grandson are going to go. I don't know about the grandson. I've heard rumors that he may not go, but I hope he does. He gets bored, but I think he'd have a good time with his cousins there. Well, I'm going to go ahead and trim this off here because it's not going to roll. All right. Now let's put something on the inside that we can... You can almost just leave it with this, but I think because it shows the envelope, I don't want to do that. I want something I can write on. This actually could be written on, couldn't it? That could be journaling space. Definitely could be journaling space. And okay, I'm back. I figured you didn't need to watch me ink or to measure and cut all these pieces because you already saw me do some of them. You don't need to watch the rest. I am going to take a piece of scrap from this and cover this part. That's not big enough. There's that one. All right. I'll go for the big things here. And I'm going to ink the bottom edge of this. And I'm using Vintage Photo today. I don't know why. I like the darker colors better, but I just pulled this out and using it. I got this idea for, I don't remember who was doing it, but somebody I watched put their daubers on the end of old medicine bottles. And that's much easier than changing every time because I only have one of these. So I thought this was a little bit easier and was a smart idea on their part. So I've done that with most of my colors that I use. I've got a couple other ones that when I get an empty bottle, I'm going to use them for those, but I don't use those very much. It's really crazy. It's supposed to be 83 tomorrow, and then I don't remember if it's Monday or Tuesday. It's supposed to get down, it's supposed to be in the 60s, the mid 60s during the day. Absolutely crazy. Our weather's just nuts. I'm sure it is other places too. But that's okay. Then I can go out and mow my lawn. I have to hand mow my little front yard. It's not very big. I used to use my ride-on mower in it, but we got it fenced. My sons came over and helped fence it so I can let my little dog out without having to go out and watch her. And it has a gate on it, and it's too small for the ride-on mower to go through, so I have to use my hand mower on it. That's okay. It's not very big. Just enough space for a little doggy to be able to go out and do her thing. She had a friend next door, a big dog. My little dog's under 20 pounds, and the dog next door was a part German Shepherd, part something else. She looked like a German Shepherd. Beautiful dog. Beautiful dog. Just the sweetest thing. And while we were gone in the spring, she got hit by a car. So my little Bitsy goes out and looks for her every now and then. Looks over there and cries. I used to go and let the other little dog in the little dog, she was a big dog, I'd let her in the yard so they could kind of be friends with each other. Bitsy doesn't know how to get along with other dogs. I don't know why, but she just doesn't. And I'd let the other dog in, and they'd smell each other, and Bitsy would kind of run a little bit from her, and the big dog would get down and lay on the ground so she'd be nose to nose with Bitsy. It was so sweet. She's just the nicest dog. I'd get home sometimes and she'd come wagging her tail against the back of my truck, I'd hear this thump, thump, bump. And she was coming over to greet me. I feel bad that she got hit by a car, but so many people around here, and in the country in general, I guess, when you live out in the country, you let your dogs run. I can't do that. I'm just terrified that they'd get hit with a car, especially on this road. Speed limit's 35, and the only time I saw most people doing 35 was when it was ice covered during the winter. It was totally covered in ice. And I think they were doing less than 35 because it was pretty bad. It was really covered in ice. All right. Now, I want to do some pretty stuff to it. I think this is pretty the way it is, but it needs some decorations. And the first thing I'm going to do, I think, is put a little Velcro dot here to hold it closed. And I think what it's going to do is fit in a pocket. These are little see-through Velcro dots, and I'm not sure. I ordered some from Amazon, and then I found some at Walmart, so I'm not sure which ones these are. But they do have them at Walmart. And when you get them on, you can hardly see that they're there, which is nice. What I do is press them together, and those aren't quite centered, not that it matters a whole lot. They're not going to tear up the paper if the rough side hits the paper, but all right, and then peel off part of it, and I'm going to put it right there. And pull this piece off here. Oh, and now it's upside down. The front of it's upside down. Oh well. Can't win them all. And there's the little Velcro. See, you can hardly see it. Okay, I want to put some fall decorations on this, I think. Some fall ephemera. Let me see what I've got cut out here. I've got a whole bunch of it. And maybe none of it will be the right size for this. Oh, I know there's some. Let me get down to my pocket. I know I've got some things that'll fit in the pocket if nothing else. Oops. She goes in and hides. What about this one? Yep, that one will go in. Oh, look at that cute bunny. Okay, those need to be inked, but I'll ink those later. And I must have something that'll work on here. Oh, these are tickets, and they're too big. Let's see here. Yep, the ticket's too big. I need something small. I'm not sure if I have anything small. I may have to cut something out. Nope, I don't think I like any of this. Maybe we won't put fall things on there, just little things in the pockets. Let's see what else I have. I have all kinds of words. How about reflection? That would be good for a journaling space, wouldn't it? I got some kind of little fly thing in here. little gnat or something. My goodness, what a pest. It's all over the place. Now I'm going to attempt to cut this bottom crooked, and it never turns out quite the way I want it, but oops. And of course it has to be inked. My sister, I don't know whether I think I told you that my sister and brother-in-law had bought a new truck, and then they bought a trailer. I can't think of the kind it is. It's one of those silver rounded things. Anyway, they bought it and ordered it a long time ago, and it had to come in from, they live in California, and it had to get to their place from Washington because they didn't have the model they wanted where they live. And so they ordered it, and it came in from Washington, and then they wanted, because it's the silver, I think they're aluminum, the front of them get dinged. I think all trailers get dinged in the front from gravel and different things when you're out. And so they got a coating put on it. It's black. It looks like, I guess it's the same thing as you put in truck liners. So, and then they were, I don't know what else they had to do to it. They had to do something else to it. So it's been there for a while, and before this company will let you take the trailer off their lot, they teach you how to back it up, how to pull it forward, how to do this and that and the other with it. So they had to go and do that. So they went today and did all that, and they got their trailer. They got to take it home. So they sent me a picture of it in their driveway. It's not a real big one. They didn't want a real big one. They just wanted one with a shower big enough that they could use it if they didn't want to go use the public shower in the campgrounds they were in. Now this is a couple of people that haven't really been out camping. I have to chuckle at them. They don't do much of anything. And I'm so glad they're doing this because they need to get out and do some things. My sister's retired. My brother-in-law isn't retired yet, but this was his idea to get a trailer, so they went out and got it. Now they have to decide where they're going to go camping. And if they want to join one of the clubs or whatever, I don't know, they're groups that you can go camping at their campgrounds. My parents traveled around for 2 years in their fifth wheel. They sold their house and put their stuff in storage, their furniture and belongings in storage, and traveled around in their fifth wheel for 2 years. And then my husband and I had a trailer that we did some traveling in and camping out in. So they've had people that did that around them, so they kind of know what they're doing. But they were so cute. There were bushes along the side of their driveway, and I parked my trailer. I backed my trailer up into their yard. My trailer wasn't nearly as big as theirs is, but I backed it into their yard without too much trouble. It's a pretty narrow driveway. It's a single driveway. They live in an old Victorian cottage in Santa Clara, California, and it's a narrow little driveway, but anyway, they had some bushes up by the front, and they were afraid they were going to scrape their trailer, so they cut those down and got rid of those. And then they thought their gate might be too narrow. They had had it widened out when my dad and mom were traveling around, because they would go up there and park at their place for 2 or 3 weeks at a time, sometimes a little longer. And so they widened that out, and they got everything all ready for their trailer. And my sister said my brother-in-law backed it in today just fine. No problems. Oh, that looks nice on there with the lace. That did something for it. I don't know what else to put on there. Maybe get rid of this. I have some people here. Maybe I can put a person or two on there. I always forget to use my Tim Holtz people and my Temu people. Now that color, those colors look good on there. Let's see what else I have. She's a little too big. Little girl's kind of greenish. We don't want that. I think the first one's the one I'm going to end up using. These are stickers. Have to get my... I really don't like these wide things on here. Well, okay. Trying to cover up a little of this around the edge. That blended in a little bit better with it. Now, do I want her over there or over here? I'm going to put her over here by the word. Oh my goodness. All this mess on my desk. Okay. I've got that. Like I said, I need to ink those and do something else with those. I don't know if I need anything on this or not. What do you think? Do I need something to decorate some of this? I could glue this down and make it a little side tuck, and whoever gets it could put something in there if they wanted to, or just leave it and ignore it. I think I'll do that. Why not? And I will probably put a piece of paper in there. So they know that it's a little tuck spot. Let me see if I have a piece of paper up here that I can cut down and use. Whoops. Things are falling all over. Where's my ruler? I love it when I can tear the paper instead of having to cut it. Ah, that gnat's on me now. Good grief. Okay, this can go in here like this. Believe it or not, I actually clean this thing. It just gets messed up when I get all the glue on my fingers and then the ink. All right, I think that's about it. I think that's quite a cute little thing. It'll fit in the journal. Let me get my journal and I'll show you. I don't think I'm going to put it in my journal because my journal is fat. I end up with fat journals. I watch Edith and scrapbooking with me all the time, and she says she can't control herself. She gets carried away, and I do too. And sometimes my journals go way past what they're supposed to. Let's see here. I find a page that this could go on to. Okay. If I was putting it in my journal, I could put it there in a pocket. I would put it into a pocket so that it could be taken out and opened up and written in. And it can be private. I like that. All right, that's it. This is Camille from my Junk Journal Heaven. Thank you to all my new subscribers and all my old subscribers. And to my viewers, anybody who watches, thank you. I appreciate it very much. And if you have any comments, I appreciate that too. I like comments. I get comments every now and then from people. I'd like to know where you're from. I've lived all over, although not in the East so much. But I like to know where people are from. Oh, and I've lost my pen again. There it is. Where you're watching from. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.